Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show us a few more move tool tricks once we get our items made into components. Remember, making things into components is as simple as selecting everything, whether that means a triple click or selecting everything from clicking and dragging or encompass it, either way that way, and then doing a right click and make component. Once we make component, it acts a little different. So when we select it, it selects the entire feature here. So each one of these is a component. Actually is the same component. This one is blue and the others are white because I didn't edit it in the component. If I was going to paint it while I was in the component, and I'll talk about that in a little second here, it would turn all of these blue. Okay, so first I guess just talking about what it means to be in the component. So if you ever wanted to change your component, you could double click into it. If you've been through our CO2 car before doing this, 8th graders, possibly even, I guess now it won't be 7th graders, you know about this as far as now that you see this box around this is editable, all right? So now if I were to go to paint bucket tool here, and if I were to go grab the red color and drop that into that, you notice if I paint that front side, it paints all the front sides for these pieces. All right. So if you want to keep them individual, you can just select them and paint them outside the component, and you can kind of keep them being different colors that way if you want to, if you're playing around that way. All right. I'm just going to edit undo, stop that feature, and then I'm just going to escape to get out of that selection, or deselect to get out of that selection. Now the next thing I want to talk about here is just moving some things around. So I'm going to grab this blue block, and I'm just going to move it over. I'm actually going to deselect before I start that process. When you deselect, it'll select the things you go over top. If you have one selected, it'll just grab that same one over and over again. So I'm going to come in here and I want to go to the move tool. I've changed my move tool right now to the scale tool. I was playing around yesterday. So the move tool here, I talked about last video, just making sure we select either endpoints, midpoints, just things that are going to snap to places where we want these things to push or be put down. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's just matching up or lining up with each other. I want to come in here and I'm going to grab this edge right here and I'm just going to move it over. I actually got the wrong one. I want to be on this piece. And I'm just going to move this over right now. If you ever want to drop it and re-grab so you know you have the right point, you can do that. All right. Now what I want to show you here is just another little method of, I guess, making duplicates, but a whole bunch of them at one time. So I know this block is 32 millimeters. So I'm just going to drop this right now. And just to get a base to start, and I'm going to grab an endpoint. I'm going to grab the left endpoint here because I'm going to move these to the right so it'll make sense later on. And then I'm going to hit the control key. Remember, the control key copies in the move tool. All right. I'm going to slide to the right. If I don't know the decimal version, or sorry, the distance there, the actual data, I could just click on this other endpoint. But I know it's 32, so I could just type in 32 and hit enter. All right, or click the endpoint. Once I drop it, though, this is the important part. Or once you enter the data and hit enter, this is the important part. If I want to do this multiple times, I can hit X and then how many times I want this to happen. So if I wanted this to be 20, I can put in X20 and hit enter, and it puts down 20 more blocks. All right, and it's kind of a neat way to really build a lot of stuff really quickly. Okay, so if I want to put another layer on top of this, I can kind of come over here. I could grab my block from before. Now I'm going to go from the midpoint because I want to kind of line these up with midpoints. If I don't want to steal that block, I can hit the copy key there, the control key, and then I can place this down. After I place it down, this is where I want to start thinking about my whole bunch at one time again. So I can come in here, I can select my midpoint, and don't be afraid to slide in or zoom out if you need to help with that to grab stuff. And then the next part I'm going to do here is I'm just going to once again control, and I'm going to move it over that certain amount of point, or certain amount, which would be 32 again, drop it, and then once again X20. And this is going to make my extra layer. All right. And that works for any kind of copies, any kind of things we're doing that way, the X and how many times we're doing it. So just kind of play around here, build with your Lego blocks, explore the move tool, explore the component pieces, do some coloring. But I really want you to kind of explore, and the more you use the move tool, the better you get at it. So just kind of put yourself through the trials, try the things I'm trying to show you here in these videos, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Have a good day, everybody.